The Yemen's Iran-backed Houthi rebels have fired a missile at Israel's Ben Gurion airport. The fresh attack has come after the Israeli bombings on Sanaa's international airport. The Israeli defense minister has said that the threat is now in the skies. And our next story takes a look at the new missile war in West Asia.
The fighting between Houthis and Israeli forces is intensifying by the hour. Both Ben Gurion Airport and Sanaa's International Airport are under fierce attack. A wave of Israeli air attacks hit Yemen's main airport. Panicked passengers can be seen rushing out of the terminal in Sanaa. World Health Organization's Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus was just meters away from the attack on Sanaa airport when it came under aerial bombardment. The Israeli military says it attacked infrastructure used by Houthis at the international airport in the capital Sanaa. These images show broken windows, collapsed ceilings, the damage at the airport after Israel strikes. IDF also attacked power stations and ports, alleging they were used to smuggle in Iranian weapons and for the entry of senior Iranian officials. In retaliation, Houthi forces unleashed missiles targeting Ben Gurion Airport near Tel Aviv, while simultaneously deploying drones against the city and a vessel in the Arabian Sea.
The missile force of the Yemeni armed forces carried out a specific military operation targeting Ben Gurion Airport in the occupied area of Jaffa using a hypersonic ballistic missile of Palestine II type.
The assault disrupted flight arrivals for half an hour. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu warns of more strikes against Houthi positions.
A short time ago, the Israeli Air Force attacked targets of the Houthi terror organization in Yemen, both on the coastline and in Sanaa. We are determined to cut off this terrorist arm of Iran's evil axis. We will persist in this until the job is done.
Israel's defense ministry is now expanding the procurement program for the Arrow 3 interceptor that is designed to counter ballistic missiles outside Earth's atmosphere. Israel's comprehensive air defense system, comprising the Iron Dome, David's Sling and Arrow 3, is now on heightened alert. As tensions soar, both sides dig in for a prolonged confrontation, with the Houthis vowing continued attacks in solidarity with Gaza, while Israel pledges to neutralize threats from Yemen. Bureau Report, WION, World is One.
All right, now to give us more perspective in terms of what is unfolding at this moment in this war in West Asia, we're joined by Professor Scott Lucas, who's a professor of international politics at the Clinton Institute University College in Dublin. He's joining us live in this broadcast. Now, Professor Lucas, thank you very much indeed, sir, for speaking to us here on WION. Let me start off by asking you this. You know, this tit-for-tat attacks that we've witnessed between Israel and the Houthis in Yemen are expected to escalate further. A lot of people are saying that what Israel intends to do with the Houthis is similar to what it did with the Hezbollah. Do you think it can succeed?
Iran-backed group in Yemen, of course. And what has happened is that as other Iran-backed groups, the Assad regime, which has fallen in Syria, Hezbollah, which has been badly damaged in Lebanon, the Houthis have stepped up these attacks to say the so-called axis of resistance is still here. We can still fight Israel. Now, in reality, in the past 10 days, we're talking about 5 ballistic missiles, 5 drones. I don't want to play that down, but you've only had 2 missiles which got through, causing light injuries. 1 hit a park, 1 hit an empty school. The Israeli response, of course, in part is to say to the Houthis, you can't do this, we'll hit you back. And so they hit overnight Sanaa airport, they hit several ports, killing 6 people. But the Israeli response is also tied to domestic issues. And that is that as Benjamin Netanyahu wages the open-ended war in Gaza, and as he had attacked Lebanon as well, he's going to keep the pressure on Yemen because he cannot afford a ceasefire. He cannot afford a de-escalation because once he does, he faces early elections and he faces legal problems. Because remember, the bribery trial against Netanyahu is now ongoing. And just yesterday, his wife has been accused of witness intimidation.
Interesting. Those are some of the pressing domestic issues. Do continue to stay on with us. This, of course, is a big story that we are tracking here on Beyond. These are tit-for-tat attacks, and the logic that is being given is that Netanyahu's intention is now to do to the Houthis what he has done with the Hezbollah in Lebanon. But the question, of course, is there is a huge amount of distance between the state of Israel and the Houthis who are operating from Yemen. Remember, the Houthis are also a crucial part of the Iranian-backed axis of resistance. And it now remains to be seen as to how this phase of the campaign by the Israelis, of course, proceeds. Remember, Benjamin Netanyahu is also at this moment facing serious charges of corruption. And we have with us Professor Scott Lucas. Professor Lucas, you were speaking about a very important aspect where you're saying that this is a war that Netanyahu cannot stop fighting because he's also facing these serious charges of corruption. And the minute the war in the Gaza Strip were to come to an end, possibly Netanyahu may in fact be prosecuted in the cases of corruption that he's facing, and he could end up losing his political career. Is that what the calculation is for Netanyahu?
I think that's been the calculation for Benjamin Netanyahu ever since October 2023. Now, I don't want to downplay the fact that Hamas, because of its mass killing inside Israel, of course, gave Netanyahu the legitimacy to attack Gaza and to continue attacking Gaza, as well as to attack other countries, such as Yemen. But I think we are at the point where if Netanyahu cannot get those 100 Israeli hostages back that Hamas still holds, some of them dead, some alive, he cannot satisfy the basic desire of the Israeli people. We want all our fellow citizens back. And if he can't satisfy that desire, he's the one who'll be held accountable for what would be seen as a failure. So what do? You just keep attacking. So while we talk about the attacks on Yemen, in the past 24 hours in Gaza, we've seen attacks on 3 hospitals, for example, one of them being raided by the Israelis today, and we've seen 5 journalists amongst the latest casualties.
Indeed. Thank you very much, Professor Scott Lucas, for joining us and getting us all those details there.
Thank you.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.